Hey, 22nd Annual JCC Lane Dworkin Jewish Book Festival features some pretty big names. This year, you have a couple that are, you may or not know these people, but like Rabbi Joseph Telushkin. But the big name that's coming to our area next month in March, it's Gail Sheehy. Now, those who are reading the Democrat and Chronicle many moons ago, you might remember that name. She was a writer here in Rochester for a couple of years. Then she went off with her husband, and they helped form the New York Magazine. Just incredible stuff. Now, this is her new book. A lot of people, though, know her from that first book, Passages. It's rated one of the most influential books of the 20th century. I think the Library of Congress weighed in on that one. And she's done a lot of profiles of presidents, so both Bushes. She's done Mikhail Gorbachev. She's done Anwar Sadat out of Egypt. Wow. Just incredible work. And now she's out with this new book where she kind of turns the lens on herself. And she's joining us over the phone to talk with us right now. Gail, thank you so much.
I'm delighted to be with you, and I'm coming home to Rochester, my first newspaper job.
I know, the Democrat and Chronicle, we are rolling out the white carpet for you, which I'm sure you know all about here in Rochester.
I do. You know, this is a really funny thing. 3 of my boyfriends have been from Rochester. So there is a lure to your city that goes straight to my heart.
Speaking of, while I probably should ask you a question about politics and philosophy and all that, if I can, what's amazing about your book is not only do you talk about your career, which has been monumental, you have shattered and broken down so many walls, but you also talk about the intimate relationship you had with your late husband who passed away in 2008. And to me, it was encouraging that you could love someone at that level for so long.
Well, he was the love of my life, Clay Felker, who started New York Magazine and who actually was the first mentor of my career. And we shared a love of being part of the national conversation and breaking stories. And he was the founder of the new journalism, where we used a lot of the techniques of fiction, characterization, and dialogue, and story, and totally engaging ourselves often in the story, becoming part of it. So it was we had a lot to share, and for 17 years, off and on, he had bouts of cancer 4 different times. And each time we beat it back, we felt, again, committed to living as long and as good a life as possible with that in the background, and we did. And at one point, we actually left New York at a doctor's suggestion, changed our lives completely, did something wonderful, did it together that would maybe have an influence on the illness. And we went to Berkeley, California, where Clay started doing, showing students at the journalism school how to actually make magazines. And the new journalism became mainstream. And I wrote 5 more books in that next 10-year period before the final illness took him down. But even the night before he died, I took him to a jazz concert because we loved jazz. And it totally kind of revived his spirit for at least 12 hours. He pushed himself up from the hospital bed in our home and by no assistance got himself dressed. And at the jazz club at Lincoln Center, he, having been a drummer as a boy, he loved the up-tempo piece, and the drumming was great. I got him some swizzle sticks, and he drummed on the table for 2 hours, and he was a boy again. It was a magical couple of hours.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. You talk about new journalism. One other aspect of new journalism is talking about the thoughts and motivations of the people you're covering, and you have covered Hillary Clinton extensively, so if I can, we are going to hear even more about Hillary Clinton in the next few months. What is her driving motivation here? When you are asked about her, what makes her? What do you say?
Well, her driving motivation has always been to be president since she was a preteen. But I think her driving motivation as she has moved around in the world has been to improve opportunities for women and girls. That has been her everlasting campaign. She's done it in very many ways, and of course she made the historic announcement in China that women's rights are human rights and human rights are women's rights. And of course she's seen the fallback that we have experienced in the last 10, 15 years in this country with so much conservative legislation and so much anti-women episodes that now we don't even see women on national news in the evening. I mean, some of that was personal, but they're being replaced by men as they have left the job. So I think she's more fired up than ever to bring a change as radical and welcome as Barack Obama did when he was the first African-American and white president. And she would be the first woman president ever in a country that is behind so many other countries in electing a woman leader.
Well, Gail, thank you so much for joining us. I could go on and probably work right up until noon talking to you. You are just that fascinating. Wow. And I know that Rochester is going to welcome you when you come here. We hope that you know that we've adopted you as ours. And you are our native daughter. Thank you so much for the time, and I really look forward to reading your book. I
can't wait. I'm going to spend 3 days there and have a wonderful time.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Thank you.
Wow. Fascinating.
Weekend's almost here. Do you have plans yet?
Well, you know who knows about what's going on? It's Pizzano and Sandy in the new Weekend Buzz. We're going to talk to them next. Stay with us.